And welcome to Desk of Lady Ada.
Hey everybody, it's me, Lady Ada. I'm at my desk. It's a snowy evening out there, so we're indoors working on microcontrollers and electronics and all sorts of good stuff. We got some maybe Christmas goodies to show off as well. Lots has happened since we last broadcasted.
That's right. We broadcasted a couple weeks ago, Christmas Day, when we did the live AdaBox 2 unboxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have a couple things I can show on my desk that I've got.
Okay.
Show off some things.
Yeah. We're catching up. We're doing some holiday stuff. So let's first see what is on the Desk of Lady Ada. Yeah.
So I got some prototypes a couple days ago. The latest version, purple, of Circuit Playground, SAMD. This is the express version, and we actually got a suggestion from one of our beta testers who's like, hey, maybe put some space on the back so people can write their names. So we put a big white silkscreen mark on the back here, this rectangle, and this is so you can write your name. So maybe I'll take this one. I'll label this as mine. So I know it's mine. So this is my Circuit Playground, and this is Rev C, I think. Not a lot has changed in it. Again, it's very similar to the AVR-based Circuit Playground we have in the shop. I cleaned up the silkscreen a little bit, and I just moved around a couple parts. This SPI flash up here is now on its own Circom, so that makes it easier for us to do CircuitPython on it, because there's no risk of you accidentally messing with the pins for the SPI flash. And along with that, I got the latest version of the Trinket M0 and the Gemma M0. I'm starting with the Gemma. And here's basically what happened. I was actually done. We had finished the design. And then, at the last minute, I was talking to Phil B. And I said, well, what's better? Should we have the pins match, the Arduino 0 pins, and analog 0 is digital 0, analog 1 is digital 1, and have that match up? Or should we have it be backwards compatible with the Gemma, the ATtiny85? And we actually kind of discussed and decided, even though it's clunkier, it's better to have it be backwards compatible. So I've changed around some of the pins to make it back compatible with the Gemma, so more code should work automatically. And then one of the cool things that's coming with the Gemma M0 is this fancy bootloader. So do you want to go to the computer?
Yeah.
I can show it off. So we have a nifty bootloader with the Gemma M0. So traditionally, Arduino 0 compatible, even Arduinos in general, they show up as a serial port, and then you would use AVR Dude or you would use BOSA to bootload it. It's the bootloading tool, and it shows up as a COM port. So you need a driver for Windows 7 and Windows XP, but as of Windows 8 and 10, you don't need a driver anymore, which is kind of nice. It's built into the operating system, and Mac and Linux don't need a driver either. And it works pretty well. You can use it on any operating system, and again, it's kind of a standard way of bootloading. For the original Gemma, you don't have the ability to do CDC, the UART communication. You actually have to do this weird kind of HID communication or this low-level USB, which isn't as nice. With the Gemma M0, because we're upgrading the chip to the SAMD processor, which is 50 times more powerful, you get a native COM port. But we also have another neat thing that comes with this bootloader, and it's not released yet, but it'll probably come out really soon. It also has a disk drive. It shows up as both a USB serial port and also a disk drive. So if you look over here on my computer, there is like a couple files that tell you about it, but then you can drag, basically binary files onto it to bootload it. So you don't need to use a tool like Aviart or Bossa if you have the binary file. So for example, I was working with Scott earlier to get a binary file for the Gemma. So if I drag and drop this over, it'll bootload, and then it actually ejects itself, which is something I'm kind of thinking maybe will change. But basically it burns it, and then when it loads up, it actually comes back as a MicroPython device. So like it fully programmed the chip using only USB mass storage. And then if I double click it to put it back into bootloader mode, it shows up again as Gemma boot. So the name of the directory kind of tells you a little bit about what's going on. And what's neat is it's still backwards compatible with Arduino core. So this is like standard blank, and I select Gemma M0 as my board type, and then I can upload to it through the Arduino IDE. So you have basically two ways to program. You can program either through Arduino using like the classic Bossa bootloader. Let's kick it the first time.
Do you want to answer some questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, when people like the new bootloader design, Greg pointed out how long before no one remembers what a disk drive is. That's true. Just like the little copy button, cut and paste, and like the little save icon.
Oh, like what it is?
What's a disk drive?
Like a disk drive. I mean, people know what a USB key is. It's actually funny when I talk about mass storage. I usually just most people don't know like a mass storage or devices, so I just say it's like a USB key, which is what it shows up as.
Next up, will the new bootloader be extended to other M0 boards like the Feather and the new Trinket?
I don't know when we're going to load the Feather with it, but the Trinket M0 and the Gemma M0 I'm planning to use basically as guinea pigs for this bootloader. Okay, so now this is uploaded, and then if you go to the overhead, you can see it's blinking. And then another neat thing about the Gemma is I added an RGB LED. So I've got a demo program here. Let me upload another sketch. There's a little micro dot star. I don't remember if I showed this off last time we did a Desk of Lady Ada, but basically instead of having a power LED, like you and I chatted and we decided, if you're doing wearables and they're using something low power like the Gemma, they might not want to have an LED that's on all the time. They might want to have the ability to select whether they have an LED lit or not. So we put this like micro LED. We actually have them in the shop now, and despite their size, they're very durable. Like the manufacture of them, the epoxy that they use for the LED is really rugged. So we've had a lot of luck so far, like hand soldering it, which makes me feel comfortable like designing a board with this because it's a new LED style. But yeah, you just basically connect clocking data to two of the extra pins, and now you've got the standard red LED you can see blinking, and then I also have this nice RGB LED. And I'm also using the RGB LED for bootloader notification. So one of the things that happens a lot, like a lot, is people are trying to use like an Arduino with native USB, and they're using a charge cable, not a data sync cable, because a lot of people they get low cost electronics that charge over USB, and so they get these cables that don't have data lines, and so they plug them in and they're like, it's powered, but it doesn't connect to the computer. So what we did with this bootloader is, right now it's running the demo, but if I double click it to put it into bootloader mode, you'll see this red LED is pulsing, so it's like the breathing, and the RGB LED is green, which is like, hey, enumeration worked out. If I unplug it from my computer, so unplug this, and then this is a charge only. This is not a data connection. If you plug this in and then launch the bootloader, you'll notice the RGB LED is red and the red LED isn't pulsing. It's a solid red. So I'm hoping that this this double red LED, if I put a photo in the tutorial, it'll help people when they get started. If they plug into their computer and they get like snake eyes, basically, they'll know, hey, stop, your USB cable is broken, or your USB port, or your USB hub, something's wrong with that. Get that working. Because otherwise people end up like bashing their heads against like, why can't I upload to my Arduino? And they don't realize that the USB device isn't even showing up. So I kind of like having some notification of that. So that's that. And then so I just finished the Gemma board definition. Again, I really would have liked to I would have liked to have, a fresh design where I could have analog pin 1 be analog digital pin 1, analog pin 0 be digital pin 0. But to maintain backwards compatibility, I actually had to, I renamed all the pins, and so they match the Gemma, the original Gemma. So if you go to the computer, I can just show my design. So this is the design for the SAMD. And this is that little RGB LED over here. It's like so small. What's nice is it's as small as a normal LED plus resistor. So it's like you get RGB and it's 10 cents, but like what a sweet little thing to add onto a board. So I'm gonna be tossing more of these little RGB LEDs onto my microcontrollers because for like 10 cents, like it's really nice to have an RGB indicator, and you need only 2 digital lines, no resistors. It's like SPI, very easy. But yeah, so digital pin 2 is analog pin 1, and that matches the original Gemma. So that was digital pin 2, analog 1. And for the AVR chipsets, you couldn't rename pins. Like digital 2 was kind of like whatever it was. Like you couldn't be as flexible. But with the SAMD, you can. So I was able to just, rename all these pins. So digital pin 2 is analog pin 1. Digital pin 0 is analog pin 2, analog 0 is digital 1. It's annoying because it's like they don't match up, but the good side is that this means it will be completely like pin compatible with the previous Gemma. So this is one of those design decisions that, there's no right answer. You just kind of have to decide on something, and this is sort of what we decided as a team, and that's like part of teamwork. You decide together what to do, and what's nice is if I really have to, I can always, revise the silk screen and make a new board. If it turns out like this was a total disaster and I should just make digital 2 be analog 2, digital 0 be analog 0, you can always go back and fix it, later, because it's not a hardware change, it's just a silk screen pin numbering change. So that's the news with the Gemma, and then the Trinket's very similar. So I started with the Gemma, it's only 3 pins. I got native I2C working, native serial working, which is really nice. You get like real hardware serial, real hardware I2C, and it still has the Gemma shape. It's sewable. It's going to have PWM on all the pins. It has analog outputs. It has digital inputs analog inputs on all the pins. So it's a step up, and hopefully, really soon I'm going to get pricing from Microchip, because Microchip owns Atmel now, and they'll tell me the new pricing for this chip, and we'll be able to like get it in the shop soon. So that's kind of where I'm at with this design. But I believe the hardware's done. We're gonna try out a couple Gemma projects and make sure that they're still buildable with this design. But other than that, I'm pretty confident that this is set.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
All
That's
right.
my news.
Do you want to clear off your desk a little bit?
Yeah,
and
sure.
we'll go through some of the things that were sent to us over the holidays.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me clean up. I'll keep this trinket up here.
All right. Well, this is from C. Scott, who's on our show and tell often.
Yeah.
So you can start to show some of this stuff. You can say what it is.
Yeah, a lot of revisions. I did a lot of revisions over the Christmas break. A lot of boards that were like, hey, there's little bugs in them. Kind of revised them all. Okay, so.
Yeah,
so this is from Old Crow, who's a friend of ours and shows up on the show and tell. And he's got these cool stickers. Okay, so this is pretty neat. This is.
You can tilt the camera a little bit so you can see better.
Yeah. Whoa.
Not like that though.
I'm clearly. That's pretty good. So this is color mod. So this is to Lady Ada, and this is one of 2 handmade mod chip dev boards from 1996. This is pretty cool. What's neat is this is tinned. You can see how it's silver, so it's hand etched on paper phenolic, and then hand drilled as well, or maybe he had a CNC drill. So drilled out, but then tinned. So it actually.
They're all the same level at one autofocus.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm keeping it steady.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's this. I don't know where the pick. I think the pick is over here. Pick 12F08, and then some extras. This is cool. Mod chips. Okay. So this is like the first mod chip, the first microcontroller for hacking consoles.
Maybe keep it on the same level.
Yeah, it's on the same level. There you go. This is the Chrominius Module A. So this is a synthesizer board. So that's what he's working on these days, is this Chrominius. It's this sort of modular audio synthesizer stuff, but like trying to basically get the sounds of older synths with all modern components. So a lot of analog parts here. You can see like 1206 for the most part, SOICs, a lot of op amps, TL072, it's a really nice dual op amp, LM393s, LF398s, LM346, I think this is a oscillator, can't remember exactly. And then this is the control board for the Chrominius, so you can see the nice pads here for the selector knobs. So this would be a multi-selector knob, and then potentiometers over here for control. And then there's little trim pots that go with them. Oh no, sorry, these are switches that go with it. Oh, this is a nice analog. Okay. And then this is the first PCB he made in EagleCAD. That's kind of cool. Looks like some sort of microcontroller. D-Day, also a synthesizer thing. PWM, digital analog converter. Kind of cool stuff. Oh, and these are the finished mod chip boards. This is the Trinket from '97, so it's in theme. So yeah, you got the PIC 12C F08, and then capacitor, connectors, oscillator, and then you would wire this to your PlayStation, so you could play Japanese games. This is cool. Some old style PCBs. You know what's interesting? I actually don't know where you could get PCBs made like this. These single-sided PCBs, like it's really rare to get these days. It's almost cheaper because, you know, they're panelized. It's almost cheaper to get PCBs that have double side, you know, copper through. Like I don't even order PCBs from the PCB houses I go through. They'd be like, well, we don't make them with single sided. You kind of have to get double sided, and there just won't be any traces. But the holes would have copper, you know, an annular ring, and the copper through hole. Yeah, it's interesting. So neat stuff. Old crow. Nothing like taking a break from making PCBs to look at PCBs.
Yeah, okay. You can hand me all this stuff. Next up. Okay. Next up.
What do you got?
Well, Carter Nelson stopped by. He writes many of our Circuit Playground tutorials, and he is from Washington State, so he brought a bunch of things from Washington State. This is a series of pins, because we seem to like pins now,
Yeah.
from the Living Computer Museum. So you can just maybe hold these
Just
level.
slide them. Yeah. Pocket protector with Living Computer Museum pencil. A neat. This looks familiar, but I can't remember what it's from. Some logo. Things SDK. Maybe it's this Things SDK.
Oh yeah, Andrew, who's on our show and tell, sent those in the mail.
Oh yeah, it's probably
Yeah.
some Esperino thing.
Yeah.
This looks like
That's Space Needle.
Space Needle from Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle. And then, of course,
Yeah.
time for grunge.
Got grunge stickers.
Sub Pop.
Those are going to go on my laptop.
And some cool postcards. This one's nice. This is a.
Wires.
This is Twisted Pears. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Andrew's on Periscope. Thank you for the stickers.
Washington State. I love it here.
Yeah, it's green.
It's great. Is that the official color of Washington State?
No, I don't think so. But it's really green.
More Sub Pop stickers.
Yeah, more for my laptop.
More Sub Pop stickers.
The mostly rad.
They're mostly rad.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Oh yeah, the mostly rad, pretty sticky, various sizes. And then another brochure from
Okay.
Computer Museum.
Okay.
Okay, so it's Paul Allen. So he basically put it up.
Yeah, he funds everything.
Yeah.
It used to be called the
Is it Bit of
Experience.
Laserdiscs?
It used to be called Experience Music Project, but I think they just changed the name of it.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, you can give that to me. I'll put it in our. We're just getting through all this stuff. We have a big pile of things.
I
that
know.
people send
This is only the beginning.
us. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So you can hand me the pins. Pins. Okay. And then I'll because this is big. I'll show this one off.
Okay.
I'll do this. Okay. Hi, it's me. Hello.
Hi.
So you're up the corner there. Hi. So what I'll do is sorry Instagram folks, this book is too big. So I showed that Apple design book before, but I got another one. This is National Geographic Infographics, and this is a huge book. You can see I have a giant head, so this is even bigger than my giant head. It's a history of knowledge. So if you grew up on like all these old infographics in National Geographic, you'll like this. I did. I don't really have
There's
any.
some beautiful hand-drawn and also CAD.
I didn't have siblings or family or anything, but I had National Geographic subscription, and there was also one called World Magazine. So a lot of these things are really familiar to me. I remember looking at some of these infographics and thinking like how cool tectonic plates were, and like how the Amazonian worked, and like how ice moved around. And here's different skeletons from different.
Yay, skeletons!
Yeah. Anyways, so it's pretty neat, and it's huge. And if you're someone who does like data graphics or anything that needs to show lots of information in a really concise, interesting way, this is a really good book. So for all you design nerds out there, this is a really good book.
Okay.
And then the other thing, I wanted to take some photos with the drone, but all the drones are kind of an overkill. So this is the hover camera, and like, so look how tiny this is. This is like, so here's an iPhone 7, just to give you an idea of like the size. So this is how small this thing is.
Was it like a Kickstarter? Did you back it or did you buy it?
No, I bought it.
You just bought
It's
it?
one of the few times I actually hit the buy button and something showed up.
Wow.
And anyways, so this folds out. It has a carbon fiber cage. And one of the neat things is it's meant to just be a flying camera. That's its whole thing. It's not really meant to be a drone that you take to the beach or whatever. I mean, you can, but it's meant to be a like flying selfie camera. So
What's nice about it is it's protected.
You want to put it on the overhead real quick?
Yeah.
There you
It's
go.
got little magnets to
Yeah, on the overhead.
It's cute.
So, you know.
So it's got this
Yeah.
protection. I mean, you don't want to fly into somebody's head, but like, you're not gonna. It's not a flying blender. And then the camera is in here, and then this is a little distance.
Yeah,
sensor.
there's a sensor. There's two sensors on top and bottom.
Camera.
It does 4K. It's pretty easy to use, and I'm gonna actually just do a live demo here, which is unusual for drones.
Usually you can't.
Usually you can't, and so
Nice plastic finish.
yeah. So I'm gonna do one right now. If you hand it back to me. So you know, you pop it out of your bag, and you don't really need to do anything other than turn it on. And then after you turn it on and you hear a beep, you can just set it to hover until you get your smartphone, Android or iOS, and then you'll be able to do things like fly it around, record,
Okay.
and then it transfers photos and all that. So you just leave it here like this. And so now it's just sitting there. Nothing like,
That's kind of nice.
yeah, so it'll just sit there until I'm ready to start controlling it with my phone or whatever.
The cat is terrified.
Well, yeah, you can sit there. So what's also neat is like it'll sit there until you're ready, and then when you're done, you're done. So
You just pick it up.
yeah, just pick it up.
That's neat.
So that's the
What's the company that made this?
I don't know.
That's all they do, huh?
It's called Hover Camera, and it's called the Passport. So
That's
anyways,
interesting.
yeah. So
How long? What's the battery life like?
it came with 2 batteries, and it's about 10 minutes each.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's
And,
about like what you expect. I mean, like you're not gonna fly this over the ocean. It's not for.
Yeah.
And how much was it?
I think it was like $500.
Okay.
But I needed a camera to go inside the Adafruit factory and kind of do a quick tour. The other thing it does is it says face recognition, so it'll follow your face around, and it'll also do body tracking, so it'll follow you in follow mode. I backed Lily, which is a drone I'm never going to get. But one of the things I forgot to do, I was going to put it on Snapchat to show what this thing does. Okay, that's enough of that. All right.
Yeah, it's compared to like the Parrot drone you have, which I would not fly indoors. This one is actually
No,
indoor.
the Parrot one was
friendly.
it had Nerf kind of around it, but it would just like collide into things and like propellers would go everywhere.
Yeah,
So anyhow,
this looks like it's more of an indoor style drone.
yeah. So I'll be able to do the factory fly through with this, and then we'll be able to do follow and face recognition and a couple other things around the machines.
Okay.
Because we have really tall ceilings, so why not?
Yeah, fly through the oven and then melts.
I hope not.
Okay.
Okay, well that's it.
Yeah, that's our little update.
Okay, that's us of Lady Ada. Thank
Thanks,
you, everyone.
everybody.
Yeah, we'll keep doing these. Happy 2017. Please buy something from adafruit.com. This is what fuels this type of live broadcasting and a lot of things that you see here. So thank you so much for everyone for a great 2016.
Happy New Year.
And looking forward to a great 2017 with all of you.
All right,
Okay, bye-bye.
back to hacking.